I've watched hundreds of celebrity interviews implode, but I've never seen anything quite like what happened between Amber Heard and Stephen Colbert last night. Amber came to discuss her comeback and new project, but within minutes, Colbert brought up the trial. Amber tried setting boundaries. Colbert kept pushing, and then everything exploded. Amber stood up, tears streaming, screaming, "I said we're not talking about this," before walking off set. Hit that like button if you think some topics should remain off limits, because what happened here sparked a massive debate about boundaries and moving forward. First of all, don't forget to like and subscribe to our video, and don't forget to write to us where you watched this video. The Late Show theme music faded as Stephen Colbert welcomed Amber Heard with his professional smile. She walked out looking composed in a navy blue dress, her blonde hair styled simply. The audience applause was noticeably mixed, some enthusiastic, others polite. "Amber Heard, welcome to The Late Show," Colbert said. "Thank you for having me, Stephen," Amber replied, settling into the guest chair with a carefully maintained smile. "So, you've been keeping a lower profile lately," Colbert began, "but you're back with a new independent film. Tell us about it." "Yes, it's called Resilience," Amber said, seeming to relax slightly. "It's about a woman rebuilding her life after a traumatic experience. Very different from my previous work." "That sounds personal," Colbert noted. "Does it reflect your own journey?" Amber's smile flickered. "All art reflects the artist in some way." "Speaking of personal journeys," Colbert transitioned and the temperature shifted, "you've been through quite a public ordeal. The trial with—" "Stephen," Amber interrupted firmly, "I came here to talk about my film." "Of course," Colbert said, but didn't change topics. "But your film is about recovery, and you've been through a very public recovery process yourself." "The film stands on its own," Amber said carefully. "It's not autobiographical." "But surely people will draw parallels," Colbert pressed, "after everything that happened in court." "I'd prefer to keep the focus on the work," Amber cut in, voice firmer. "I understand that," Colbert said, "but you're a public figure. People are curious about where you are now, mentally and emotionally, after the trial." Amber's jaw tightened. "I'm here to discuss my film." "That's what was agreed upon." "Was it?" Colbert asked. "Because I think the audience would be interested in hearing your perspective on—" "Stephen," Amber's voice hardened, "we're not doing this." "I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable," Colbert said. "I'm just acknowledging the elephant in the room. You went through a very public trial. The verdict wasn't in your favor. Don't you think people deserve to hear—" "Deserve?" Amber repeated, anger flashing in her eyes. "I don't owe anyone anything. But you're here, in the public eye," Colbert continued, "promoting a film, attempting a comeback. Doesn't that come with certain expectations? Expectations that I relive my trauma on television?" Amber's voice rose. "That's not fair." "I'm not asking you to relive anything," Colbert said. "I'm asking how you've moved forward." "By not talking about it," Amber said firmly. "By focusing on my work, by trying to rebuild my life and career. That's how I've moved forward. But people want to know. I don't care what people want to know." Amber's composure cracked. "I came here in good faith to talk about my film, and you're turning this into something else entirely." "I'm a journalist," Colbert said. "It's my job to ask difficult questions." "There's a difference between difficult questions and exploitation," Amber shot back. "Exploitation?" Colbert looked taken aback. "I'm giving you a platform to tell your side." "I've told my side," Amber's voice shook. "I testified under oath. I gave statements. I've said everything I'm going to say about that period of my life. And now I'm trying to move on." "But the public doesn't feel they got the full story. The public doesn't get to dictate my healing," Amber interrupted, tears forming. "The public doesn't own me. They don't own my trauma. They don't get to demand I perform my pain for their entertainment." The studio went quiet. Several audience members shifted uncomfortably. "I don't think anyone's asking you to perform," Colbert tried. "Yes, they are," Amber said, voice breaking. "That's exactly what you're doing right now. You invited me here supposedly to discuss my work, and instead you're mining my worst experiences for ratings." "That's not what I'm doing," Colbert said defensively. "Then what are you doing?" Amber demanded, tears now visible. Because it feels like an ambush. It feels like you're prioritizing sensationalism over basic human decency. I think you're being unfair. Unfair? Amber's voice cracked. I sat through a trial that was broadcast to millions. I had every mistake, every moment, every text message dissected publicly. I was found liable, yes. I've accepted that. I've paid the consequences. What more do you want from me? I'm not trying to punish you. Then why won't you let me move forward? Amber was crying openly now. Why do I have to keep reliving the worst period of my life just to promote a film? Why can't my work speak for itself? Because your history is part of who you are, Colbert started. My history is my history, Amber's voice rose sharply. Not yours, not the public's, mine, and I get to decide when and how I discuss it. You're in the public eye. That doesn't mean I'm public property. Amber stood up abruptly. The audience gasped. Amber, please sit down. No, she said firmly. I'm done. I'm done being treated like my pain is content. I'm done with people acting like they're entitled to every piece of me. I think you're overreacting, Colbert said. Overreacting? Amber's voice echoed through the studio. You ambushed me on live television, ignored every boundary I set, made me cry, and you think I'm overreacting? Colbert opened his mouth, but Amber kept going. You know what the worst part is? I believed you when you said this would be different. When your producers assured me we'd focus on the film, I actually thought maybe, finally, someone would treat me like an artist instead of a scandal. That was never my intention. Your intention doesn't matter when the impact is this. Amber gestured at herself, tear-streaked face, shaking hands. Look at me. This is what your journalism does. She reached for her microphone with trembling hands. Amber, let's talk about this. We were talking, Amber said through tears. I was trying to talk about my film. You're the one who kept dragging the conversation back to my trauma. Because it's relevant. I said we're not talking about this, Amber screamed, the words ripping from her throat. The studio fell silent. She unhooked her microphone, hands shaking so badly she almost dropped it. Amber, please, Colbert tried. You know what you did, Amber said quietly, voice wrecked. You know you crossed the line, and the sad thing is, you'll probably defend it. You'll say you were just doing your job, but journalism shouldn't feel like cruelty. She set the microphone carefully on the chair. To anyone watching who's trying to move past their worst moments, you don't owe anyone your story. You don't owe anyone explanations. Your healing is yours, and no one gets to demand you sacrifice it for their curiosity. Amber looked at Colbert one last time. I hope you got what you wanted. I hope the ratings were worth it. She walked off the Late Show set, shoulders shaking with sobs, leaving behind a divided audience and a host who clearly hadn't anticipated this response. Colbert sat in uncomfortable silence before managing, "We'll be right back." But everyone watching knew, some things can't be fixed with a commercial break. So there you have it, how Amber Heard walked off The Late Show after Stephen Colbert repeatedly violated her boundaries. Within hours, the internet was divided. Some praised Amber for standing up for herself. Others criticized her for being unable to answer tough questions. The debate continues. Do celebrities owe the public explanations about their past, or do they have a right to move forward without constant interrogation? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe, because sometimes the most important conversations happen when someone refuses to let their trauma become entertainment.